Stop. Before you scroll. This one thought you have every morning is quietly destroying your future. Tomorrow morning, you'll wake up with the same thoughts you had today, and one of them will quietly steal your future. Most people never notice it. That's why they stay stuck. For months. For years. Sometimes. For their entire lives. But if you catch it today, if you truly understand what I'm about to show you, you will never be the same again. Stay with me. Because in the next 50 minutes, your entire relationship with your own mind is about to change. Not in theory. Not with empty inspiration. But with real understanding. Real tools. Real transformation. I want you to do something right now. Before we go any further. Put down whatever else you're doing. Close the other tabs. Because this conversation deserves your full attention. Not because I am asking for it, but because you deserve it. You have spent years running on autopilot. You have spent years trusting a voice in your head that has never once asked for your permission. That ends today. Segment 2, the problem, the voice in your head. Every single morning, before you even open your eyes, your mind is already talking to you. It says things like, I'm tired. Just 5 more minutes. I'll start tomorrow. It's too hard. What's the point? And here is the terrifying part. You believe it. Every single morning. You hear that voice. And without even thinking, you obey. No questions asked. No resistance. No hesitation. You just listen. And you follow. That voice isn't your friend. That voice isn't protecting you. That voice is the reason you are not where you want to be. Think about the last time you said you would change something. Maybe it was your health. Maybe it was your habits. Maybe it was your career. Maybe it was your relationship with yourself. You made the decision. You felt the fire. You went to bed that night with something different in your chest. Something rare. Something that felt like possibility. And then, the next morning came. And the voice said, Not today. And you listened. You didn't argue. You didn't fight back. You just rolled over. And gave the day away. This is not a weakness. This is not a character flaw. This is a pattern. And patterns can be broken. But first, you need to understand exactly what is happening inside your mind. Because once you see it, you cannot unsee it. Let me take you deeper. Because most people who try to change their lives, they focus on the wrong things. They buy the new planner. They download the app. They write the goal on a sticky note and put it on the mirror. And for 2 days, maybe 3, it works. They feel different. They feel awake. They feel like this time is different. And then day 4 comes. And the voice is louder than the sticky note. And the app notification gets swiped away. And the planner stays closed on the desk. Because they were trying to change their behavior. Without first changing their beliefs. They were trying to rebuild the house. Without touching the foundation. Today, we go to the foundation. Segment 3, the science. Why your brain works against you. Here is something most people were never taught. Your brain is not designed to make you happy. It is not designed to make you successful. It is designed to keep you alive. And to your brain, alive means safe, comfortable, predictable. Every time you try to change, every time you try to do something hard, your brain sends out an alarm. It floods your body with resistance, with doubt, with fear, with, I don't feel like it. This is called the homeostasis effect. Your brain wants everything to stay the same. Because same feels safe. Change feels like danger. Even when the change is exactly what you need. There is a part of your brain called the amygdala. Neuroscientists sometimes call it the lizard brain. It is ancient. It is fast. And it does not care about your goals. All it cares about is keeping you exactly where you are. Because where you are right now, you are still alive. And that is all it knows how to measure. Are you alive? Then don't change anything. So when you wake up tomorrow morning, and your mind says, stay in bed, that is not laziness talking. That is survival instinct. That is millions of years of evolution, telling you to conserve energy, to avoid risk, to stay comfortable. But here is the problem. You are not a caveman. You are not trying to survive a predator. You are trying to build a life. And survival instinct was never designed for that. The habits that kept your ancestors alive are the same habits keeping you stuck. And if you don't learn to override them, they will run your entire life, without you ever knowing it. There is also something called the reticular activating system, your RAS. It is the filter through which your brain processes reality. Here is what that means in plain language. Your brain receives 11 million pieces of information every single second. 11 million. Sounds, colors, sensations, memories, thoughts. But you can only consciously process about 40 of them. 40. Out of 11 million. So your brain has to choose. It has to filter. And it filters based on what you have told it matters. If you wake up every morning telling yourself, today is going to be hard, your RAS will find all the evidence that it is hard. If you wake up every morning telling yourself, I am someone who grows, your RAS will begin to find evidence of that too. This is not magic. This is not wishful thinking. This is neuroscience. Your brain is not a passive receiver. It is an active filter. And you have more control over that filter than you have ever been taught. But there is a way out. And it starts with one simple understanding. You are not your thoughts. Read that again inside your mind. You are not your thoughts. You are the one who hears them. You are the awareness behind the noise. And once you truly feel the difference, everything changes. Right now, some people have already clicked off this video. And that is okay. Because what I'm about to share is not for everyone. It is only for the person who is ready. Ready to stop fighting themselves. Ready to stop being the prisoner of their own mind. If that is you, stay with me. Because we are just getting started. Segment 4, The Observer. Who are you really? Imagine this. You are sitting in a movie theater. The movie playing is your life. Your thoughts are the scenes on the screen. Sometimes beautiful. Sometimes dark. Sometimes terrifying. Most people forget they are sitting in the seat. They think they are the movie. They think every thought is real. Every worry is a fact. Every fear is the truth. But you are not the movie. You are the one watching it. This is the most important thing I will say in this entire video. So I need you to sit with it. You are not your thoughts. You are the awareness that notices them. When your mind says, I'm not good enough, that is just a thought passing through. When your mind says, I'll never change, that is just a thought passing through. When your mind says, I'm too tired, too old, too far behind, those are just thoughts passing through. Like clouds through an empty sky. The sky does not become the cloud. The sky simply allows the cloud to pass. And when you learn to become the sky, instead of the cloud, something extraordinary happens. You stop reacting. You start choosing. You stop obeying every thought. And you start deciding which thoughts deserve your energy. Which thoughts deserve your attention. Which thoughts deserve to shape your day. Now let me give you a practice. Right now, in this moment, I want you to close your eyes if you can. And just notice your thoughts for 10 seconds. Don't follow them. Don't judge them. Don't try to stop them. Just watch them. Like you are sitting at a train station, watching trains pass. You don't jump on every train. You just watch it go by. That is what your thoughts are. Trains passing through your station. You decide which one you board. This is not about positive thinking. This is not about pretending everything is fine. This is about something far more powerful. It is about becoming the author of your own story, instead of a character trapped in it. And I need you to understand what that really means. Being the author doesn't mean your story is easy. The best authors write hard stories. Stories with struggle, with failure, with setbacks. But they write them on purpose. They give those struggles meaning. They make the pain a chapter, not the whole book. You have that same power. Right now. Not after everything gets better. Now. Segment 5. The 5 morning thoughts that destroy lives. Let me now show you the 5 most dangerous morning thoughts. The ones that, if left unchecked, will silently determine the course of your entire life. Thought number 1. I'll start tomorrow. This is the most expensive sentence in the English language. Not because tomorrow never comes, but because the version of you who says, I'll start tomorrow, is the same version who will say it again the next day, and the day after that. Tomorrow is not a day of the week. It is an escape hatch. It is the mind's way of protecting you from the discomfort of beginning. And every time you use it, you train yourself to delay. You build a habit of waiting. And waiting is the slowest form of dying. Think about how many tomorrows you have already spent. Not wasted. Spent. With intention. With certainty. Telling yourself, tomorrow. What would your life look like today? If even half of those tomorrows had become todays? I am not saying this to hurt you. I am saying it to wake you up. Because the gap between who you are and who you want to be is not made of talent. It is not made of luck. It is not made of time. It is made of tomorrows. The cure is not motivation. The cure is a decision. Right now. Not a big decision. Just one small action. One push-up. One page. One email sent. 1 minute of silence. Begin. Not because you feel ready, but because waiting to feel ready is itself the trap. Readiness is a feeling, and like all feelings, it comes after you start, not before. No one feels ready before they jump. They jump, and the readiness arrives on the way down. Thought number 2. I don't feel like it. This thought will cost you your dreams if you let it. Because here is the truth no one tells you. Champions don't feel like it either. The most disciplined people on earth wake up and don't feel like it. The athlete who wins gold medals had mornings where they didn't want to get out of bed. The entrepreneur who built something from nothing had days where they didn't want to answer a single email. The writer who finished the book had mornings where the blank page felt like a wall. The difference is, they did it anyway. Motivation is a feeling. And feelings are weather. They change constantly. They cannot be trusted to drive your life. You wouldn't cancel your plans every time it rained. You wouldn't stay inside forever because there are clouds. So why are you canceling your growth? Every time motivation doesn't show up? Discipline is a decision. And decisions can be made regardless of how you feel. The moment you stop needing to feel like it, you become unstoppable. Because you no longer need the right conditions. You no longer need the perfect moment. You no longer need the stars to align. You just need the decision. And that is always available to you. Always. Even on the worst morning. Even in the hardest season. Even when everything inside you says no. The decision is still there. Waiting. All you have to do is reach for it. Thought number 3. I'm not enough. This is the deepest wound. The most quiet. The most damaging. You may not say it out loud, but it lives underneath everything. Underneath the procrastination. Underneath the fear of trying. Underneath the self-sabotage. Underneath the reasons you give people for why you can't. I'm not smart enough. I'm not disciplined enough. I'm not young enough. I'm not ready enough. I don't have the right background. I don't have the right connections. I don't have the right start. But here is what I want you to understand. That voice did not come from truth. It came from experience. It came from criticism you received as a child. From a failure you never recovered from. From a comparison you never stopped making. From someone who told you once who you were allowed to be. And you believed them. Not because it was true, but because you were young. And when you are young, you believe what the world reflects back to you. But that reflection was wrong. Or at least, it was incomplete. It was not the whole story. You are not the version of yourself that failed 10 years ago. You are not the version of yourself that someone dismissed. You are not defined by the worst thing that ever happened to you. You are not even defined by the worst thing you ever did. You are the person standing here. Still listening. Still wanting. Still reaching. And that reaching is enough. It is more than enough. It is, in fact, the proof. The proof that the voice is lying. Because people who are truly not enough don't stay up at night wishing they were more. You do. And that makes you more. You always have been. Thought number 4. What's the point? This thought arrives when you have tried and failed. When you have started and stopped. When you have hoped and been disappointed. It feels like wisdom. Like you are finally being realistic. Like you are saving yourself from more pain. But it is not wisdom. It is exhaustion wearing a mask. It is a bruised part of you asking to rest. And rest is okay. Rest is necessary. Rest is not giving up. But, what's the point? Is not rest. It is the beginning of surrender. And I need you to hear this clearly. The point is not the outcome. The point is who you become in the pursuit. Every time you get up after falling, you are not the same person who fell. You are stronger. You are more capable. You are more real. Because you have done something rare. You have looked failure in the face. And chosen to keep going anyway. And the world does not give you enough credit for that. I am giving it to you now. Every restart matters. Every attempt counts. Every morning you choose to try again is an act of extraordinary courage. Even if no one sees it. Even if nothing works yet. Even if the progress is invisible. It is there. Building. Quietly. In you. And that is the point. Thought number 5. Other people have it easier. This one is subtle. This one hides behind fairness. And yes, some people do have easier starts. That is true. It would be dishonest to pretend otherwise. Some people were born into wealth. Some people were given advantages. Some people did not have to fight for the things you are fighting for right now. That is real. And it is allowed to hurt. But comparison is a thief. It steals your attention from your own path. It steals your energy from your own work. It steals your gratitude for how far you have already come. And here is what comparison never shows you. It never shows you the private cost of other people's lives. It never shows you what they lost. What they gave up. What keeps them up at night. Every single person fighting for something is fighting something too. You only see the highlight. You never see the battle. Your story is not their story. Your timing is not their timing. Your journey is yours alone. And the moment you stop looking sideways and start looking forward, everything shifts. Because you stop measuring your chapter 3 against their chapter 20. You start measuring your chapter 3 against your chapter 1. And when you do that, you will find something surprising. You will find that you have come further than you think. You have grown more than you notice. You have changed more than you give yourself credit for. And that progress is yours. Completely. No one can take it. No one can compare it away. It belongs to you. We are more than halfway through. And if you have stayed this long, I want you to know something. That itself is proof. proof that you are different from the person you were this morning. Because most people cannot sit with discomfort. Most people cannot sit with truth. But you can. And what I am about to share with you next is the part that actually changes lives. Not just for a day, but permanently. Stay with me. Segment 6. The Shift. How to Rewire Your Morning. Now I want to give you something practical. Because understanding the problem is only half the work. The other half is changing the response. And I want to be very specific here. Because vague advice does not change lives. Vague advice feels good for a day, and then evaporates. What I am going to give you are concrete, proven, repeatable steps. Things that you can start tomorrow morning, or tonight, or right now. Step 1, the 5-second rule. When your mind says, "I'm tired," you don't argue with it. You don't try to fight it. Fighting your thoughts gives them power. It makes them louder. It makes them feel more real. Instead, you simply say, "I hear you. And I'm getting up anyway." This is called cognitive diffusion. It means creating distance between the thought and the action. Instead of, "I am tired," which makes tiredness your identity, you say, "My mind is telling me I'm tired." That small shift changes everything. Because now the thought is something you observe, not something you are. You are not tired. You are a person whose mind is generating the word tired. That is a very different thing. And then, the moment your alarm goes off, count to 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Then move. Don't think. Don't negotiate. Don't give your brain time to build a case against getting up. Just move. Not because you feel ready, but because the 5-second window is the only window the voice cannot close. Once you move, the momentum begins. And momentum is far easier to maintain than it is to start from stillness. You don't need to feel motivated to move. You move. And the motivation follows. Every time. Step 2, the anchor statement. Before you touch your phone, say one thing out loud. Something true. Something that reminds you who you are choosing to be. I am someone who does the hard thing. I am someone who shows up. I am someone who does not quit. It does not have to be perfect. It does not have to feel true yet. Say it anyway. Because repetition creates reality. Your brain learns through repetition. It is not different from how a muscle grows. The first time you do a push-up after months of rest, it is painful. It is hard. It doesn't feel natural. But after 30 days of doing it every morning, your body has changed. The movement has changed. The muscle exists where it didn't before. Your beliefs work the same way. The first morning you say, "I am someone who shows up." It might feel like a lie. Say it anyway. The 10th morning, it will feel less like a lie. The 30th morning, it will start to feel like a memory. The 90th morning, it will feel like the truth. Because it will be. Identity is not inherited. It is practiced. Daily. In small moments. In quiet sentences. In private decisions that no one sees. Step 3. The one thing. Do one hard thing before the world wakes up. Not 100 things. Not a 10-step routine. Not an hour of journaling and cold plunges and meditation. 1 glass of water instead of reaching for your phone. 1 page of the book you have been meaning to read. 1 minute of stillness with your eyes closed. 1 body weight squat. 1 deep breath held for 5 seconds. 1. I know that sounds too simple. And that is exactly the point. Complexity is the enemy of consistency. The reason most people abandon their routines in week 2 is not because they lack discipline. It is because they built routines that required discipline they didn't yet have. You don't train for a marathon on day 1. You walk around the block. Small actions done consistently are more powerful than big actions done occasionally. Let me say that again. Small actions done consistently are more powerful than big actions done occasionally. The mountain is not climbed in one leap. It is climbed one step at a time. Every single day. And here is the secret no one tells you about small actions. They compound. Day 1, 1 push-up. Day 30, 10 push-ups. Day 90, 40 push-ups. Day 180, you are a different person. Not because of willpower. Not because of motivation. Because of the compound interest of small, daily choices. Your habits are a vote. Every morning you wake up and choose the hard thing. You cast a vote for the person you are becoming. An identity is decided by the majority of your votes. Not by a single grand gesture. By the daily, quiet, unglamorous decision to show up. Step 4. Protect the first hour. The first hour of your day sets the frequency for everything that follows. This is not a metaphor. It is physiological. When you wake up, your brain is in a highly suggestible state. Your cortisol levels rise naturally in the first 30 minutes after waking. Your mind is primed to receive input, to form impressions, to set the emotional tone for the day. What you feed it in that window shapes everything. If you spend it scrolling through social media, you train your brain to be reactive, to compare, to feel behind, to feel like the world is moving without you. If you spend it in anxiety about the news, you train your brain to start the day in threat mode. If you spend it in silence, or movement, or creation, you train your brain to be intentional, to be present, to be the author of the day. You are not just building a morning. You are building a mind. Guard that first hour. Protect it like it is the most valuable hour of the day. Because it is. Step 5. End the day with intention. I want to add a fifth step that most morning routines miss. The morning starts the night before. How you end today determines how you begin tomorrow. Before you go to sleep, write down 3 things. 1. What did I do today that I am proud of? 2. What is one thing I will do tomorrow, no matter what? 3. What am I grateful for right now? Not a long list. Not a journal entry. 3 things. That's it. The first question closes the day with dignity. The second question gives tomorrow a purpose before it begins. The third question trains your brain to notice abundance, instead of starting from lack. You are not building a habit. You are building a new default. A new way your mind orients itself when it wakes up. And that changes everything. Segment 7. The identity shift. Become a different person. Everything I have shared with you today comes down to one thing. Identity. Not goals. Not systems. Not willpower. Identity. Because here is the truth. You do not rise to your goals. You fall to the level of your identity. If you see yourself as someone who always quits, you will quit. Even when you don't want to. Even when you try not to. Your behavior will find a way to match the story you tell about yourself. If you see yourself as someone who always starts over, you will start over. Because your identity gives you permission to. But if you see yourself as someone who simply does not stop, you become unstoppable. Not because you are special. Not because life gets easier. But because your identity pulls you forward. Even when everything else pushes you back. And here is what I want you to understand about identity. Identity is not what you feel. It is what you decide. You do not wait to feel like a healthy person before you start eating well. You decide you are a healthy person. And then you make choices that match that decision. You do not wait to feel like a focused person before you put your phone down. You decide you are a focused person. And then you behave accordingly. The decision precedes the feeling. Always. Most people have it backwards. They are waiting to feel like the person they want to become before they start acting like that person. But that day never comes. Because the feeling only arrives after the action. Act first. Feel second. Become third. That is the sequence. And it can start with something as small as a single morning. I want to ask you something. And I want you to answer it honestly. Not out loud. Just inside yourself. Who are you choosing to be? Not who you have been. Not who others have said you are. Not who you were on your worst day. Not who you were before the thing that broke you. Who are you choosing to be? Starting today? Because that choice is available to you right now. This moment. Not after you lose the weight. Not after you fix the relationship. Not after you get the money. Not after everything feels better. Now. In this exact moment. With everything exactly as it is. You can decide right now that you are someone who gets up. Someone who keeps going. Someone who does it even when they don't feel like it. That decision costs nothing. And it changes everything. Segment 8. The deeper why. What are you really fighting for? I want to take a moment here. Before we finish. Before I give you the anchor you will carry forward. I want to ask you something more important than goals. More important than habits. More important than morning routines. Why does it matter to you? Not what you want to achieve. Why does it matter? Who is watching you become this person? Who needs you to rise? Maybe it is your children. Maybe it is the younger version of yourself. Who needed someone to show them it was possible. Maybe it is someone you love who is quietly giving up. And they need to see you fight first. Or maybe it is simply you. Just you. And that is enough. You deserve to become the person you are capable of being. Not because of what it will give you. Not because of who it will impress. But because there is something inside you that is asking. No aching. To come forward. And every morning you hit snooze. Every morning you choose the comfortable thing. That part of you gets a little quieter. A little smaller. But it never disappears. Because you are here. Watching this. Listening. Still wanting. And that wanting is a signal. A signal that the real version of you has not given up. Even if you have. Even if you forgot. Even temporarily. The real you is still waiting. Still knocking. And it will keep knocking. Until the day you finally open the door. Today could be that day. Segment 9. The Power Line. There is one sentence I want you to carry with you. One sentence that will serve as an anchor. Every single morning. When your mind tells you to stay. When your body tells you to rest. When life tells you it is too much. When every reason in the world says not today. Say this. I don't feel like it, but I do it anyway. Write it somewhere you'll see it. Put it as your phone wallpaper. Put it on your bathroom mirror. Write it on a piece of paper and tape it to your alarm clock. Put it somewhere that matters. Because one sentence, spoken consistently, at the hardest moment, is more powerful than any motivation video, any book, any coach, including this one. Because here is the truth about transformation. I cannot change you. No video can. No book can. No course can. Change happens in the quiet moments. The moments no one is watching. The 5:47 a.m. alarm. The moment you almost didn't. The moment you chose anyway. That is where transformation lives. In the almost didn't. In the chose anyway. In the thousand small invisible moments. That no one will ever see. Except you. And you. Choosing you. In those moments. That is everything. Segment 10. The closing. One morning at a time. If you take only one thing from this video, take this. Your life will not change when conditions are perfect. It will change when you decide to move. Even when they're not. Not instantly. Not dramatically. But permanently. Because small changes made daily compound into lives you could not have imagined. Because the person you are becoming is being built right now. Quietly. Invisibly. One morning at a time. One choice at a time. One step at a time. You will not always get it right. There will be mornings you lose. Mornings the voice wins. Mornings you hit snooze and feel the weight of the choice. That is okay. One bad morning does not undo a life. What matters is not that you never fall. What matters is that you build a relationship with getting up. That you know how to return. The most powerful thing you can do is not to be perfect. It is to be consistent in your returning. To always know the way back. Back to the step. Back to the breath. Back to the sentence. Back to the decision. I don't feel like it. But I do it anyway. That is enough. You are enough. Right now. Exactly as you are. In the middle of the struggle. In the process of becoming. You are enough. Now go. Not tomorrow. Not when you're ready. Not when it feels right. Go now. Do one thing today that the old version of you would have postponed. It doesn't have to be big. It just has to be real. And when you do it, notice something. Notice how it feels to be the person who showed up. Not the person who meant to. The person who did. That feeling is the beginning of your new identity. Hold on to it. Return to it. Build on it. One morning at a time. If something in this video moved you, do not let that feeling disappear. Subscribe to this channel. Because the next video might be exactly what you need next. And share this with one person in your life who needs to hear it today. You never know whose life you might change with a single click. I'll see you in the next one.